Lovely to be back. Always terrifying. I always joke with Emma and Ali how nervous I am about doing these things. But it's lovely to be here. And I think one of the reasons why I'm so nervous is because every time I stand up, I've got really scary information to share with you, and I really want to do it justice, and I really want to make sure that it lands the way that I want it to, which is that it needs to shock. So I am Rosa, I am the Commercial Director at Major Players. I've been in recruitment for 11 years. One of the reasons I love recruitment is because I'm so nosy. And I love getting to study people. What motivates them? What makes them tick? What do they want? And a lot of the time we get to facilitate that, and it's fantastic. However, there is huge disparity, and I recognise that all the time with the different people I meet. And particularly in this industry, there is a lack of representation. Major Players, for those of you who don't know us, we are a creative marketing and digital recruitment agency. We've been in the space for about 28 years. And I truly believe that we have a bird's eye view of the market that nobody else has, due to the breadth of roles that we cover, but also our varied client base, which means that we have a unique insight into the market, and especially in terms of salary benchmarking, that isn't out there anywhere else, which is why our salary survey is so sought after. I'm going to talk you through some of the stuff we found in our salary survey this year, which is harrowing. I don't know how else to share it with you. This year, along with salary benchmarking, we decided to look at things like the impact of COVID, mindset shifts, and particularly DE&I. So, as you know, just context before COVID, the UK creative industries were previously growing 5 times the rate of the wider economy. They were employing over 2 million people, and it was contributing £111 billion to the UK economy. So when the pandemic struck, we all felt it. We were hit really hard. We were losing £1.5 billion per week. And we knew that we thought it was going to impact just under 500,000 jobs. We as recruiters were really at the coalface of that, and we really felt it. Obviously, from a recruitment perspective, everybody stopped hiring, but more than that, what we found was we were suddenly supporting people who were going through some of the most challenging times in their lives. Our salary survey found that 43% of respondents said their employment status had changed during COVID. So this was either redundancy, this was jobs being pulled, this was contracts being pulled. You know, I spoke to some agencies where whole pieces of work were just removed. And you know, we were supporting the candidates through that period. And I say we, my consultants were dealing with that all day, every day, just on the phone, having conversations with people. And we just didn't have the answers at the time. We didn't know what to do. 4 in 10 people revealed they'd taken a pay cut between 5 and 20%. And over a third had lost their bonus or were unsure if they were going to receive one. If you were one of the lucky ones that stayed working, and I say lucky, your working day increased by an average of 2 hours. And 55% of our respondents were working 40 plus hours a week. I have a theory, and I've been talking to people about this, but I genuinely believe that we are all suffering from mild, if not strong, PTSD over the last year. I think the repercussions of what we've all been through are not really coming to the forefront yet. However, this is coupled with this survivor's guilt. Everybody we speak to, however bad it was for us, it was worse for somebody else. And I think what this is doing is compounding how we're feeling now about work. Since November, there have been green shoots of recovery, and now I have never seen the market so busy. What I am worried about is we've got this hangover or this feeling of not having dealt with what we've gone through, and the market is now booming, and we need to think about how we move forward. And this is where the stats come into play in terms of our salary survey. So on top of the roller coaster of the global pandemic, we were faced with the inequalities being highlighted. We knew they were there across geographies, across gender, and of course the Black Lives Matter movement. They highlighted the inequalities that we already knew were there, but in a lot of instances, they actually exacerbated them. For the first time in our salary survey, we decided to collect demographical data based on gender, age, ethnicity, and sexuality, with the aim of facilitating some of the discussions that need to be had around pay gaps and increasing representation across all groups. We know that the inequalities are there. These stats are not the best stats, I'm giving you all a warning, but I'm really hoping that this is the baseline from how we move forward. So I'm going to talk about gender first. It's out in the news already this morning. Surprise, there's still a gender pay gap. I talked to you 2 years ago and it was 27%. Hasn't really changed, guys. I thought I'd put it into money context because I think it's really important just to help you. 27%, what does that even mean? If you're like me and you're not very good at maths, it's hard to think about. But on average, we found that women are earning £10,000 less than men in a permanent role, and £44 per day on a freelance rate. Good news is more women are entering the market, fantastic, at a junior to mid-level. It peters out around the 50k, and men are 3 times more likely to earn over 100k than women. 40% of women saw their salary decrease as a result of the pandemic versus 25% of men. And I know we've talked about the impact on women because of COVID, and the last panel said that it was equal. I know that men work incredibly hard, but what we saw is time and time again, clients, candidates, people in our business, women were taking on the lion's share of the extra mental as well as physical load of looking after children. And I just want to put that in direct context of them earning £10,000 less than their male counterparts. This next set stats, I actually feel really uncomfortable sharing, and I had a conversation this morning about, I just don't know how to get it out in a way. It's horrendous. So we looked at ethnicity. Only 14% of people who filled in our study were from a Black, Asian, minority ethnic background. I'm told this is marginally better than similar studies, but if major players represent the creative industries, which I truly believe that we do, we still know we've got a lot of work to do to get to the 40% representation that is in London. Again, this is exactly the same it was 2 years ago. I feel like I'm beating the same drum. The next stat absolutely horrified us and is a stark example of the systemic racism that is still here. White people earn on average £10,000 more than their Black colleagues. This is even more disproportionate when you're comparing the lowest paid group, which are Black females, and the highest paid group, which is white heterosexual men. That difference is £20,000 per year. We also looked at sexuality and identity. Those in the LGBTQIA+ community earn on average 7% less than their heterosexual counterparts. As I said, I'm sorry I'm not here with better news. I feel like I'm always kind of the Grim Reaper at this conference. But I think it's important to know about where we are and how we can move forward. So I've given you some pretty damning stats. And if you're attending today, I know you want to be part of the change. I know we all do. I'm also really aware that it's really easy for me to spout out the stats, but actually what are we going to do about it? And what are you going to do about it for yourself as an ally to the other marginalised groups or as a business leader? So firstly, as an individual, as a colleague, as a hiring manager, are you creating or seeking an environment that will be inclusive and support people? Is the environment conducive with your physical and mental health, or theirs? And is it a company that places value on equality? If the answer isn't yes, my first question to you guys is it worth your time? Let alone you pushing for theirs when it comes to negotiating. So the first thing is it worth your time? The next thing is around setting some parameters for yourself as an individual or as a business on what's important. Do they offer pay parity? Are they transparent with their salary bandings? Are you as a company offering a flexible and supportive package? Is this important to you as an individual and for your colleagues? Does work-life balance exist? Big questions, I know. But I think it's really important that you are setting those parameters for yourself, for the business, in terms of how you want to enter any sort of negotiation. I'm using this twofold: negotiating your individual salary, your individual package, your individual circumstance, or negotiating how you want your business to move forward, either as a leader or part of that business. Then it's about understanding their parameters. And, you know, I've had lots of conversations with people saying, well, why isn't there pay parity? And I understand there are budget constraints, and I understand that they can't move the dial overnight, but it's about understanding where are their parameters. What is going on in that business to prevent pay parity straight away? What are they doing to move that dial? What are they doing in terms of hiring to attract more diverse talent and then create something that is inclusive moving forward? Why can't they match the salary? What can they do instead? So understanding the parameters is really important. And then have a walk away point. And what I mean by this is, what will you stand for? As an individual, when you enter a negotiation, you always have your parameters set. You know what you're looking for. You know where your base is. You know that pension's important, so you'll flex on something else. There's always a bit of give and take. But fundamentally, if you're not going to feel valued, then it's not worth it. And I can tell you now, the market is booming, and those from marginalised groups are sought after. So take your excellence elsewhere. And as a company, I want you to understand the ramifications of those walkaway points in terms of hires you're trying to make, but also those who already are in your business. The World Trend Index is saying that 41% of people are currently looking to move jobs. And I think we will see huge changes this year as people reflect on how they want to work, how they want to be. What can you do to change things now before it's too late? I think it's really important to stress good talent will get snapped up by those companies who are putting equality first. So my top tips in terms of negotiating, if you are sat there and thinking, I want to get a pay rise, I want to move jobs, I deserve more. First thing is, do your research beforehand. Understand your worth and try and understand the parameters of the business that you're going to. The second thing is so simple, and I can't believe that more people don't do it, but it's so simple. Ask for what you want. Just say it. Speak with conviction and confidence. And it's all good and well me saying this, and I have practiced and I slap this smile on with confidence to present, but practice with people to get it so you are saying, I am looking for 50k. Use the art of silence and pauses. Don't justify your salary, just say it. I think the next thing is about taking your time. The thing that I always say about negotiating, it's a bit of a dance. There should be several steps. Don't feel you have to get it nailed there and then. Don't be afraid to come back to the negotiation. Do you know what? Let me think about it. I'm going to come back to you. And the final thing is being willing to walk away. So after a crazy 18 months, I think we've all been given some time to reflect, to step away from the noise, the socializing, the shopping, the commute. And we know that people are reflecting on what they want, on what sort of jobs they want to do. And most importantly, I think, you know, in lots of ways, COVID gave us a silver lining of thinking about the sort of industry we want to be, and actually how do we move forward. We're all here because we're committed to getting the representation right in the creative industry and changing it. And as I've said right at the beginning, I hope these are baseline stats. Now it's about us rebuilding. Now, we recognise that our annual salary survey is crucial to the benchmark of developing, and every year I'm hoping that I'll come back and be able to say it's going down, guys, or going up, depending on what we're looking at. But we also need more information and more data to help us develop and help us make sure that we are making the right decisions as business leaders and as individuals. So today, we are launching on our website a salary benchmarking tool. What this will enable you to do is you can go on and plug your salary and your level and job title into the website, and it will immediately tell you whether you are under or overpaid. If you are going to hire, you can go in and say, I am looking to hire an account director. My budget is 38k, you're £8,000 out. And it will give you the stats on where you should be aiming in terms of moving forward. This data will then refeed into the right data moving forward. So our full salary survey is released today. I appreciate that some of these stats are really difficult, but I think it's important that we facilitate the really difficult conversations that we all need to have with ourselves as a business leader, as an individual, but also with each other. That's me. Thank you very much.